What's up, guys? It's me again. I am Veronique. Today I'd like to share with you guys the inconveniences that I had in America ever since I moved here from last August. So the reason I moved here is because my husband is American and I never thought of marrying an American guy in my life. So many people think once you move to America, that's all. You have everything. Your life is wonderful. All the worries are gone.
I hopped up the plane at LAX with a dream in my cardigan.
But is that true? The high price of food. The high price of most of the things here. The makeups and clothes are quite cheap compared with those in China, but all the rest are more expensive. For example, every time we go to an Asian restaurant, especially Chinese food, altogether it can cost you $35. And that's not it. When you receive the bill, it's actually more than $35 because you have to pay tax and tips. These are the two things that I hate the most in America. Everywhere you go, you have to pay tax. And for all the restaurants you go, you have to pay tips. And tips usually take up 15% of your bill. But this excludes the takeaway food like Dairy Queen, ice creams, KFC, those fast food. You don't need to pay tips. But if you sit down and people serve you, normally they talk to you a little bit before you order something, and then in the middle of your food, when you're having a good conversation with your friends, they come up and ask you, "Oh sir, how's everything going?" You have to say, "Oh yeah, everything's wonderful," even though sometimes you don't like their food. In China we have Alipay, we have WeChat. You scan the code on the bill is paid. Well, in America, you have to go to the cashier, pay by credit or pay in cash. Some popular restaurants, like the Chinese restaurant that I always go to, they are very busy at weekend, and you have to wait for more than 15 minutes sometimes to pay the bill. At first, I was very annoyed, but now I'm kind of used to it. But I still miss the WeChat and Alipay. Food differences here. So we do have Chinese food, but they're very different from China. Because in China, we have 酸菜鱼, we have 宫保鸡丁, we have hot pot, right? We have many varieties of food. I just can't remember now ever since I had all the fake Chinese food here. So normally the fake Chinese food here is fried rice with some vegetable or meat in it. That is called Chinese food. And people here think this is Chinese food. And the taste is also very different. They add cheese, they add a different weird sauce. So yeah, it's very hard to find authentic Chinese food here, at least in Denver. I mean, we do have good ones, but we have a lot of fake ones. Like Panda Express. Many locals think Panda Express is very good. But like orange chicken, we have never had orange chicken in China, but they do have orange chicken here. They think this is Chinese food. So I've noticed the differences between cooking Chinese food and American food here. When we are cooking Chinese food, we add different sauces into it, like soy sauce, salt, vinegar, peppers. Well, for American food, they don't add the sauce until after the food is ready for the most of the time, and they have very weird sauce. Like this one, mustard. Actually, mustard is okay. If you eat with, one time I eat with sweet potatoes, they're okay, but there are just many different flavors that I've never had in my life. So far, mustard is okay for me. When I was looking for different seasoning here, I found 2 different types of soy sauce. So they are both soy sauce. However, they have different tastes. This one is from China. This one is called organic soy sauce. Of course, I prefer this flavor because this is Chinese taste. And here, so this is the garlic, and this is the garlic powder. They are different again. I prefer the natural ones. I mean, it takes a lot of time grinding them, but it tastes more authentic and natural. While this one, I don't know what they add. But American, they prefer this kind of ready ones. They prefer everything's ready. This is ginger, what we Chinese used to, Asian people used to. But here, this is ground ginger. Again, it's powder. I will only use it when I go out of this. Okay, number 3 is the weather differences here. I'm from Zhejiang, where it rains a lot with more humid weather, the city that I am from, we have to take the umbrella with us for the most of the time when we leave home. But here, it seldom rains. We've been here for over half a year. I never go out with an umbrella. I mean, it does rain, but only a little bit, maybe for 5 minutes, and then it stops. It snows a lot, but it doesn't rain that much. So as a result, and for my face, it's very dry too. To use special lotion to keep my skin normal. I tried different kinds of lotions, but none of them help. Either my skin gets irritated or have red spots on it, which is really annoying. So later, one of my friends suggested this one, which I actually bought in China, but it's been really greatly helpful. I use it every day during the day and at night before I go to bed. My skin has never had any problems. Actually, you can buy a very big one in Costco. It only costs you like $10. That's why I say makeups can be very cheap here. Because it's so dry here, we bought 3 diffusers. And whenever we are at home during the day or at home, we make sure at least one diffuser is on, unlike and we have one on in our bedroom when we are sleeping, or another one on when I'm taking a nap in another room. So I have to drink water all the time. And my dog does also, and my cat also. They both drink a lot. Number 4 is the transportation. Yes. So in China, especially in Shanghai, we lived in Shanghai for a year, and wherever we go, we take subways, because subways basically reach out everywhere. Or you can have Didi, which is all very affordable. But here, wherever you go, you have to drive. So that is, America is a nation on the wheels. Well, they do have bus stations, but the buses are not that frequent. You might have to wait half an hour, sometimes an hour to get onto the bus. So it's better you can drive. You can have Uber, but Uber is very, very expensive. So unlike China or Asian countries, you can see convenience store very near you, or the vendors selling fruits or snacks on the street. Here, no. You do have convenience stores, but you have to go to the center of the city. And but it's very expensive to live in the center of the city, so most people live in the rural areas or far away from the city, and those neighborhoods have no convenience stores. If you want to buy something, you definitely have to drive to the supermarket. I guess people here are quite used to it, but to me as a Chinese, no, I'm not used to it. I feel very trapped here. That's why I decided to learn driving. I have to learn the driving. Okay, number 5 is the communication. We do have advanced technologies that you can talk online through WeChat, WhatsApp, by emails, you call your friends, but still it's different if you can talk to your friends in person, face to face. Because in rural areas, in villages, or when people live far away from the city, they normally live in house, like we live in a house. And our neighbor is not right next to us. It's not like in China, people live next to each other. Once you open the door, you can say hi to your neighbor. Here it's very different. Your neighbors are not that close to you. And here's our neighbor. See, our neighbor is a bit far from us. If you want to say hi to them, you have to get out of your house and walk several inches before you reach their door. So especially in the winter when it's snowing, I remember one time I made some cookies I want to give to my neighbor. I really debated if I should take it out to them because I have to walk in the snow. Okay, the last one, language barrier. For me, I'm okay because I've been on English for many years and this is my job. But still, it's very different. The way people speak English here, because this is their mother tongue. They speak very fast. They assume that you're good with this language. They speak to you in normal speed, and everyone speaks with different speed and with different a little bit accent. It's not really accent. It's just the way they speak. Like Chinese, you don't speak word by word. You have the stress on certain words. Well, with some words there's no stress. So it's the same in America when they speak.
I've got it! I finally reconciled the black hole information paradox with my theory of string network condensates.
That is why when I came back home, the first couple of months, I feel really exhausted. It's not because my job is tiring, it's because that I have to put all the attention when people are talking to me, because you have to respond, and you have to respond in the right way. So I will say, for those who want to move to America or study America, language is very important. If you can't understand what people are talking, or if people can't understand you what you are talking, it's very difficult and it will cause a lot of troubles. I will talk more about it later in a different video. Language isn't a big problem for me, but the biggest problem is cultural differences. So think about it. I grew up with Doraemon or Ottoman. It's easy to make friends when you have the similar background. You can talk about something. But here, after greeting with each other, it's just hard to continue the conversation. There's one teacher, new teacher from another state. So I asked her, which state are you from? She said, Alabama. Oh, okay, so the only two things that I know about Alabama is Forrest Gump and the 3K, KKK. That's it. But if you want to develop the conversation, it's very hard because that's the only thing I know. But if I was born in America, I believe we could have more to talk about it. So I think that's the cultural background, and different cultural background makes it very hard to make friends at the beginning. But we do have Chinese here who are very united. I go to the church to make friends. But what I'm saying here, when you don't know the culture, when you don't have the similar cultural background, it's very hard for you to integrate into this community, the local community. Okay, guys, so much for today. There are a lot more to share actually, but I will make into the next video, the following videos. If you really enjoy it, subscribe to me and press like. See you next time. Bye bye.